Hi, Tim Georgeff here, episode 7, and today's talk has been inspired and motivated by a series of Facebook posts I've seen recently about how the live entertainment scene in the Dallas-Fort Worth area is dying off. And while there's many that have that opinion and are feeling like that they're being replaced by DJs or canned music or no entertainment at all, there's also a large group of people who find themselves with more bookings than they know what to do with. And I think there's a reason why that gap is getting bigger, why there's certain people that are separating themselves from the pack. And I think there's going to be a series of talks about this, but today I want to talk about really just one thing that will change the way you look at how you do your job as a musician, whether you're a soloist or a band leader, maybe even as a talent buyer or a talent agent. The number one most important thing is knowing the demographic of customer that is going to bring money to the venue. And it doesn't matter what kind of venue, restaurant, lounge, ultra lounge, club, theater. You need to know who that target audience is, how to get them there, and how to get them to spend money. And it's interesting that so many people are so far off on this subject. I was actually at an entertainment conference last year where this was discussed very hotly and heavily contested and debated. And by the end of that discussion, we all realized and agreed that we had really been targeting the wrong audiences, that we needed to change our game a little bit. So we're going to talk about that. What is that demographic? Okay, so first of all, realize demographics can change because of geographical location. If you're close to a college campus, demographic age might be a little lower. If you're working on the Florida Gulf Coast, there's a lot of retired people, your demographic age might be a little higher. But generally speaking, let's say in the Dallas-Fort Worth area or any other sort of major city area, your target demographic needs to be the age 30 to 45. Now, the reason behind that, anything younger than 30, and now understand, there's always exceptions to the rule, but most people under the age of 30, they do not have the attention span to stay at a place for a long time. They like to club hop, they like to party hop, they like to go one place and meet and then go meet other friends at another place and go meet at another place. They're going to stop at 3 or 4 places. You cannot count on keeping them in their seat all night long. On the other side of it, people who are over the age of 45 typically are leaving a little earlier to go home and go to bed a little bit earlier. They're not staying and having that last round of drinks or ordering the extra food or the dessert. They're sort of finishing off early. So that target, that sweet spot, 30 to 45, are people that are willing to come to one destination and spend their night there spending money. And why is that important? Everything in the restaurant, club, hospitality industry it revolves around PPA, or price per person average. If one person comes in and buys one drink and leaves, that's great. They spent some money, but they're really not helping that bar or that restaurant make more money. They want people that are going to come in and buy not just a drink, but an upgraded drink or 2 or 3, that's going to buy food, that's going to get dessert, that's going to get the extras that drive that PPA up. And as the PPA is up with more people in the venue, then the club makes a lot more money. So we need to make sure we're bringing those type of people in. Age 30 to 45, they have the time frame, they're spending the amount of time they need in the bar to do that. Secondly, age 30 to 45, they're professionals, they have jobs, they have a little more money, their income is expendable, so they're willing to part with some of that in order to have more fun. Now also there's a little caveat to that age 30 to 45 demographic that we need to talk about. Need to target the women of that age. Why? Where there are females, there will be males, I promise you. The women are the ones who dictate where the men are going to go. So what are they listening to? Females age 30 to 45, it used to be the music of the 80s, but it's not anymore. It's the music of the 90s. Now you're asking, why is that? They grew up with that music. That doesn't mean they don't want to hear 80s. 80s is still immensely popular. That doesn't mean that they don't want to hear the new music that's on the radio now. That's also popular. But the music that gives them the most comfort, the music that gets them back in the days, those glory days of being young again, is the music of the 90s, specifically from say 1990 to 2005. And realize that shifts every year. As we move ahead to next year, that range is going to shift just a tiny bit, to 1991 to 2006. So Really think about that for a second. Is the music that is in your set list and are you playing, is that actually what your fans want to hear? And that also brings up another, just a little side point. I can't tell you how many times I hear musicians say, that song is beneath me, I'm compromising my artistic integrity to play that. If people are putting money in the tip jar and packing the dance floor for it, then you need to play it, because that is what keeps people spending money in the venue, and that is what is going to get you rebooked. It's as simple as that, folks. If you bring a big crowd, if you keep that crowd there and they spend money, that manager, that owner, that employee is going to want to rebook you again, and you can command a higher price. Now, there's a lot of other things we can talk about. There's talking about treating your job like a professional, or talking more about the music that you're playing, or marketing and all these other things. And we're going to get to some of those. But today, I only want you to think about demographic. Are you targeting an audience that is going to come to where you're playing, that is going to stay, and that is going to spend money? Simple as that. If you do that, I promise you'll be a success. How do I know? The next 2 months, actually the next 60 days, I have over 40 gigs booked. In the bands that I'm playing with, the solo jobs I'm doing, I am targeting and making sure that we are putting on a great show and targeting those people, that demographic age 30 to 45. It works, I promise. Can't wait to see you out on the road.